Hello everybody and welcome back to another wrestling review. This time it's AEW All Out. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a quick reminder. My WrestlePalooza review is on the channel. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that out. I was originally gonna do WrestlePalooza and this review all at once, but I decided not to because I didn't want these reviews to be too darn long. So we're going to be running over everything that happened on AEW All Out. So let's go over it. We had the Ops, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs defeat the Work Horsemen, that is Anthony Henry and JD Drake. Daniel Garcia would defeat. I am not gonna try and pronounce that name. He would win. Daniel Garcia won that match against this guy's name. I'm not gonna try and pronounce because I'm going to butcher it like I always do. Yeah. So Daniel Garcia is in the Death Riders now. So yeah, want to point that out. So the Hologram and Paragon, being Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, defeated the Fart House. The Frat House, sorry. The Frat House, not the Fart House. Like, I just probably made a bunch of other people laugh at that. The Frat House of Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Peston Vance. That's a lot of weird names. But yeah, I mean, I've never heard of them, so I guess that shouldn't be much of a surprise. The Fart House. I just literally made people piss their pants because I said something funny. Anyway, moving on. Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, and Willow Nightingale would go on to defeat Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, in an 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl. Nice to see Harley Cameron. It's nice to see her. Harley Cameron's very entertaining. I love Harley. And also, it's nice to see Mina Shirakawa finally back doing something. I really want to see more of Mina Shirakawa. Come on, Tony Khan. I want more Mina. Mina now. Mina time. Mina now. Adam Copeland and Christian, the rated R superstars, because I don't really know what kind of team name I give them. I mean, they never really had a team name in WWE, but anyway. They go on to defeat FTR of Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, formerly known as The Revival in WWE. And we also see the debut of Beth Phoenix, now known as Beth Copeland. So Edge's wife, Beth Phoenix, makes her debut at AEW, and then she ends up taking a spike pile driver from FTR. So yeah, welcome to All Elite Wrestling, Beth, and that ultimately means we're probably going to be seeing her wrestling. Yeah, I was never really the biggest Beth Phoenix fan, if you guys can obviously tell. I was never really the biggest fan of her growing up, and it has nothing to do with her being in a relationship with Edge. I just never really liked her all that much. Eddie Kingston would go on to defeat Big Bill, formerly known as Big Cass in WWE. Was this Eddie Kingston's return? I have not seen him in a while. This must be his return match. I haven't seen him in a while. Mark Briscoe would defeat MJF in a tables and tacks match. Honestly, this was actually a pretty fun little match, and you know, kudos to MJF for putting Mark Briscoe over. So really fun there. The Demand of Ricochet and Bishop Kayun, I'm not sure how you say that, and Tola Leona. They would take on the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. And Ricochet's group would get a pretty big upset victory. They would defeat the Hurt Syndicate. Big upset here. I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually surprised MVP is wrestling, because I honestly thought he wouldn't really wrestle much again. So I guess the Hurt Syndicate are now good guys. Because, well, I guess kicking out MJF, who's not exactly the most likable guy in the world, should ultimately make you good guys, I guess. And I also find it funny that the reason why Ricochet's gone after them is because he says that he hasn't forgotten the past, hasn't forgotten what this faction did to him in the past. Kind of basically referencing their time in WWE, where they were trying to get Ricochet in the Hurt Business when they were doing that whole thing in WWE. So it's actually kind of funny that they're actually bringing up like an old rivalry from the WWE. So it's actually quite hilarious. Everybody's favorite wrestler, and she's your favorite. She's your favorite, and you know it, and you will not admit it because there's an old saying goes: the more you hate someone, the more you secretly like them, and that is Mercedes Moné defending her TBS championship against Riho. Riho, I can never pronounce this girl's name correctly. So, Mercedes Moné, to really the shock of nobody, retains her TBS title. It was a great little match though. No real complaints there. And of course, there's already people saying Rio is buried, and of course, it's all the good stuff. All the typical things that the biggest haters would say about someone. They got buried. And look, she's your favorite wrestler. You know it, I know it, and everybody knows it. There's an old saying: the more you hate someone, the more you secretly like them. And that's Mercedes Moné in a nutshell. You may hate her, but deep down, you secretly like her. Kazuchika Okada, I think I said that correctly, hopefully. He would go on to defeat Konosuke Tanahashi and Mascara Dorado in a triple threat match for the Unified Championship. Don't really have a whole lot to really say about that, so let's move on. Jon Moxley would defeat Darby Allin in a coffin match, and this would be the return of Pac, Neville, Adrian Neville, the man that gravity once forgot, and all that guy. The king of the cruiserweight, that guy. I liked how he said that with his British accent. Anyway, so Pac's back because he was originally a member of the Death Riders, if my memory serves me right, before he got injured. So yeah, he basically helped Jon Moxley defeat Darby Allin. Next is a fatal four-way for the Women's World Championship as Toni Storm defends her title against Tekla, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. And we get a surprise result, being Chris Statlander becoming the brand new AEW Women's World Champion, successfully pinning Toni Storm herself, pinning the former champion in the middle of the ring. So, yeah, Toni Storm's reign comes to an end at 216 days. I believe that's what they said her reign was. And it was a great run. Toni Storm has not had a lot of good luck in overseas countries because she failed to win the AEW Women's Championship in a fatal four-way when Saraya beat her in that fatal four-way. I think Sheeta was the champion at the time. That happened in the UK, mainly because it was Saraya's home country in the UK. And then in the UK again, Toni Storm would lose her AEW Women's Championship to Mariah May, who's now known as Blake Monroe in WWE, for those who have no idea who the hell I'm talking about. Also, that would happen in the UK. And then Toni would win the title back from Mariah May in Australia, and now she'd lose the title here in Toronto, Canada. Toni just seems to have bad luck when it comes to overseas countries. And I know she also dropped the title to Jamie Hayter, that was her first run and all that. But yeah, I've definitely noticed overseas countries are not, good towards Toni Storm. And this was a good decision. I don't hate this. Like, I know I love me some Toni Storm, but I think it was time for a change. I think it was time for a change to give someone else a turn. This really shows that Tony Khan is willing to give other people a chance at the top. Something, I kind of wish that bald fraud Triple H would actually do every once in a while. Like, give other people a chance as champion instead of rehashing the same people all the damn time. And all that. So, yeah, we've got no complaints about this. Chris Statlander has made history by becoming the first woman to hold the AEW Women's Championship and TBS Championship. I think it's fun. I think it's actually kind of funny that the one time I think everyone expected Toni to retain, she actually lost, because people expected her to lose to Mercedes. Like, people expected her to lose to Mercedes, and she didn't. She became the first and only person to pin Mercedes. And then everyone expected her to lose to Athena, which she didn't. So, I'm assuming everyone was just like, okay, Toni Storm retains, LOL, and then she ends up losing. And she was the one that ultimately also got pinned. So, it was a fatal four-way, and the champion got pinned. Because I remember a few people, somebody telling me that Toni Storm probably didn't get pinned, which is probably the only way she would have lost the title. But that just tells me you didn't watch the show without saying you don't watch the show. And I watched the show, and I saw Chris Statlander pin Toni Storm. So, yes, Toni Storm was the one that got pinned. So, where do they go with Toni Storm from here? That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I know she was kind of in a partnership with Mina Shirakawa. Maybe they do something there. Maybe they do something with Toni and Mina Shirakawa, because I kind of know they were like partnering up for a while. I think they were, because I think I remember Toni saying that Mina was like her ally against Athena and Billy Starks before she got injured, and then they had that Alex Windsor kind of sub in for her. I think that's what happened. I can't remember. I think that's what happened. That's just my personal guess. But yeah, I know she was doing something with Mina Shirakawa. I think they should do something with them if they go forward with it. I wonder when they're going to do those women's tag team titles, because I kind of hope they bring them in soon, because they've been putting a lot of focus on tag teaming. So I remember it felt like they were planning on bringing in a set of women's tag team championships. I'm kind of hoping they eventually start those soon. If they don't, then missed opportunity, I think. Brody King and Bandito, they would go on to defeat the Young Bucks and Jet Speed and the Don Callis family in a fatal four-way ladder match. I did hear Jack Perry came back. Jungle Boy, Tarzan, that everyone used to call him. But yeah, I think I heard something about... But I think I remember hearing that Jack Perry came back on this event. So... yeah. It said it there on Wikipedia, because this is the page I usually go to when I look up results. They said Jack Perry came back. So Jack Perry ultimately came back. The man who told CM Punk to go cry him a river and all that stuff. But yeah. Cool to see him back, I guess. Main event. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Hangman Adam Page takes on Kyle Fletcher, the AEW TNT Champion. And had if any Don Callis family member interfered, Fletcher would have been disqualified and stripped of his championship. Wow, can you just imagine how pissed off Kyle Fletcher would have been if he finally made it to if he finally got his big moment by winning the TNT Championship, and all it took was a Don Callis family member to come out to the ring and try to help him, and all it would have done is caused him to lose his championship. Man, I would have left the Don Callis family if they did that, if they did me dirty like that. But but thankfully that did not happen. And these two guys wrestled for 38 minutes. And I know some people may think that's not a good thing. That's way too long. In a way, yeah, it can be. In a way, it can be, because there's like, if you don't count the pre-show matches, if you've got the 4 pre-show matches, if you don't count the 4 pre-show matches, you've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches on the card. Yeah, so they had a total of 10 matches on the card if you don't count the 4 pre-show matches. If you count those, that's 14. Honestly, 9 to 10 matches is the perfect amount for a PLE. Triple H should take notes, because at least that way you can get at least get all the titles on the line and all that stuff. But you know, the bald man would rather have 5 matches and all that stuff. But anyway, but also it actually makes sense for the main event match to be the longest match on the card, because it's the main event. Like, the main event should be the longest match on the card. Like, you paid money to see the main event match, so I think it would make a lot of sense for the main event match to be the longest match on the card, which is why I felt CM Punk and AJ Lee should have main evented instead of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. But regardless, and I'm not saying that because I love AJ Lee, I'm just saying it would have made sense for that match to main event instead of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, because nothing important happened at that show. Nothing major happened. 0 surprises. But Paul Leverscule, Triple H said there were surprises. At least there were surprises on this show. Jack Perry's return, Pac came back, Beth Phoenix debuted. See? Those are surprises. But Triple H's surprise was putting Stephanie McMahon in the Hall of Fame, his own wife. Go figure. Anyway, my mindless rambling aside, this matchup between Hangman Page and Kyle Fletcher was great. It was a fantastic match, and man, oh man, this match really made me go, man, Tony Khan, you've got yourself a future star on your hands. You've got yourself Kyle Fletcher, who has all the potential to be the biggest future star in your company. And no, I'm not saying that because he's Australian. I'm not saying that just because he's Australian. I'm just saying that because he's genuinely a great wrestler. He's genuinely a great wrestler. He really is. He's genuinely a great wrestler. You've got yourself a future star on your hands. He has this match. If this match did not convince anybody that Kyle Fletcher is a future AEW World Heavyweight Champion, then nothing will. I really enjoyed this. Adam Page did a great job of making Kyle Fletcher look like a threat and all that other good stuff. So I really enjoyed this. This was great to see. Hangman did his job very well on really putting Kyle Fletcher over and making him look strong in defeat. And I think that's what's important. I think the importance is Kyle Fletcher looking strong. And yeah, I think he's a future world champion. And I'll be very disappointed in Tony Khan if he doesn't pull the trigger when the time comes. I'm not saying do it now. I'm not trying to say he should have done it now. I'm just saying maybe in the next 2-3 years or so, that should be the perfect time for him to do it. So anyway, guys, that is a wrap for this AEW All Out review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I will see you all next time.